Rome believed it was unstoppable. For centuries, its armies had marched across the ancient world with almost mechanical certainty. Kingdoms fell, republics collapsed, entire cultures were absorbed into the Roman system, roads laid over battlefields, laws imposed over conquered lands, and legions stationed to ensure obedience. By the 1st century BCE, Rome no longer questioned whether it would win its wars. Victory was assumed. The only uncertainty was how long it would take. But beyond the eastern frontier, past the Euphrates River, Rome encountered something it did not expect: an empire that did not fear Rome, an enemy that refused to fight by Roman rules, a rival that Rome could not destroy. And when Rome finally confronted this power in open battle, the outcome would shock the ancient world and permanently alter Rome's understanding of itself. This is the story of the Parthian Empire, the civilization that defeated Rome, shaped centuries of global history, and then quietly vanished from memory. To understand why Parthia mattered, we must first understand Rome's mindset at the height of its power. Rome did not simply conquer territory, it absorbed it. Defeated peoples were reorganized, taxed, and integrated. Roman law replaced local custom. Roman governors replaced native rulers. Roman roads ensured legions could return if rebellion ever stirred. This system worked because Rome's military doctrine was designed for dominance. The legion was the most sophisticated fighting force the ancient world had ever seen. Disciplined heavy infantry, trained to fight in formation, supported by engineers, logistics, and command hierarchies that allowed Rome to sustain war year after year. Against tribal coalitions, fractured kingdoms, and centralized empires alike, Rome prevailed. But Rome's system depended on one critical assumption: that the enemy would stand and fight. East of the Euphrates, that assumption collapsed. The lands stretching into Mesopotamia and Persia were vast, open, and unforgiving. Power here was shaped by mobility rather than fortifications, by distance rather than walls. This was the world of the Parthian Empire. Founded in the 3rd century BCE by the Arsacid dynasty, Parthia emerged from a fusion of Iranian culture and nomadic steppe warfare. Unlike Rome, it was not tightly centralized. Authority flowed through powerful noble families who governed regions semi-independently, pledging loyalty to the Arsacid king while maintaining their own armies. To Roman observers, this structure appeared unstable, even primitive. In reality, it made Parthia nearly impossible to conquer. There was no single capital whose capture would end the war, no bureaucratic system that could be dismantled. Power was dispersed, adaptable, and deeply rooted in local elites. Parthia was not built for expansion. It was built for survival. In 53 BCE, Rome decided to test Parthia's strength. Marcus Licinius Crassus was one of the wealthiest men in Roman history. A member of the first triumvirate, alongside Julius Caesar and Pompey, Crassus possessed immense political influence, but little military glory. That imbalance gnawed at him. While Caesar conquered Gaul and Pompey basked in triumphs, Crassus sought a campaign that would secure his legacy. Parthia, wealthy and unfamiliar, seemed the perfect target. Warnings were ignored, diplomacy was dismissed, intelligence was minimal. Crassus marched east with 7 legions, roughly 40,000 men, confident that Roman discipline would overwhelm any eastern army. What awaited him was a form of warfare Rome was utterly unprepared to face. The encounter took place near Carrhae, in modern-day southeastern Turkey. The Parthian force was smaller than Crassus's army, but it possessed something Rome lacked: total battlefield control. Parthian horse archers dominated the engagement from the first moment. Mounted, mobile, and endlessly maneuverable, they attacked from all directions while remaining perpetually out of reach. Roman formations trained for frontal combat found themselves encircled by motion. Arrows fell like rain. When Roman troops advanced, the Parthians retreated. When the Romans stopped, the arrows resumed. Shield walls were useless against attacks from every angle. Supplies dwindled. Heat and exhaustion took hold. Then came the final blow. Parthian cataphracts, heavily armored elite cavalry, charged into disorganized Roman lines at the moment morale collapsed. The result was catastrophic. The Roman army disintegrated. Crassus was killed during a chaotic parley. Tens of thousands of Roman soldiers were slain or captured. Legionary standards, symbols of Roman honor, were seized and paraded as trophies. It was one of the worst defeats Rome had ever suffered. Rome had lost battles before, but Carrhae was different. This was not a setback. It was a revelation. Rome's military doctrine had failed completely. Its legions, unstoppable in close combat, were helpless against an enemy that refused to engage directly. The myth of Roman invincibility shattered. News of the defeat rippled through the Republic. Senators panicked. Commanders hesitated. Rome's eastern ambitions suddenly appeared dangerous rather than inevitable. And Parthia did something remarkable. It did not invade Roman territory. It did not press westward. It did not seek domination. Instead, it simply held its ground. Yep, for the next 3 centuries, Rome and Parthia existed in a tense, unresolved rivalry. Rome tried again, many times. Mark Antony launched an invasion and failed. Emperor Trajan captured Parthian cities but could not hold them. Lucius Verus claimed victory yet changed nothing. Septimius Severus sacked Parthian capitals only to withdraw. Battles were won, cities burned, treaties were signed, but the outcome never changed. Rome could defeat Parthian armies, but it could not destroy Parthia itself. The reason lay in Parthia's design. Its decentralized power structure absorbed losses. Its nobles raised new forces. Its cavalry neutralized Rome's strengths. And its vast territory made occupation impossible. The Euphrates River became more than a border. It became a permanent frontier between worlds. Not a line of conquest, but a line of balance. Parthia's greatest influence may not have been military at all. It controlled the trade routes that connected China, India, Persia, and the Mediterranean. Silk, spices, gold, and ideas flowed through Parthian lands. Religions traveled. Technologies spread. Cultures collided and merged. Parthia stood at the center of the ancient global economy. Yet it left behind few monuments, no grand architectural legacy, no triumphant inscriptions carved in stone. Much of its history survives only through the writings of outsiders, Greek, Roman, and later Persian sources. And those sources rarely treated Parthia kindly. To Roman historians, Parthia was an embarrassment, a reminder of defeat, an enemy that refused to play the role Rome expected. So its story was minimized. In the 3rd century CE, internal pressures mounted. Noble families challenged royal authority. Stability weakened. Then, from within Persia itself, a new force emerged, the Sasanian dynasty. Unlike the Parthians, the Sasanians centralized aggressively. They promoted ideology, built monuments, and recorded their victories. They overthrew the Arsacid dynasty and absorbed Parthian lands into a new empire. Parthia did not fall in flames. It did not collapse overnight. It simply disappeared. Its people endured. Its culture lingered. But its name faded. History favors those who record themselves. Rome wrote endlessly. The Sasanians carved their triumphs into stone. Later empires inherited those narratives. Parthia did not. Its legacy survived only in fragments, scattered across hostile accounts and archaeological traces. Over time, it slipped from public memory, overshadowed by louder, more visible civilizations, yet its impact was undeniable. Parthia halted Rome's expansion eastward. It forced Rome to accept limits. It reshaped warfare, diplomacy, and global trade. It proved that Rome was not inevitable. The modern world is shaped by borders, balances, and rivalries that began here. East and West did not merge because Parthia stood between them. Global trade flourished because Parthia protected it. Military innovation evolved because Parthia exposed Rome's weaknesses. The empire that left no monuments left something far greater, a lesson. That power does not always conquer, that victory does not always expand, and that some of history's most important empires are the ones that resisted domination, until history itself forgot them. The echoes of Parthia's defiance would shape the ancient world for centuries to come. If you enjoy stories like this, lost empires, forgotten rivals, and the hidden forces that shaped civilization, subscribe for more forgotten chapters of history.